Hey Cougs and Coug families, Mrs. Dalton here for Coffee with the Counselors, and this month we're talking about careers. So today we'll cover just who we are as counselors, how to talk with your student about careers, what essential skills they might need, how to provide opportunities for exploration and experiences, and then how you can support them in that process. So our teams, myself, Kaylee Dalton, and then we've also got Rachel Lineweber, who is the counselor for the last part of the alphabet. You can check us out on Instagram, on Facebook. We also have a YouTube channel, or you can contact us directly. So to support your middle schooler in thinking about life after high school, they need to be talking about what interests them. They need opportunities to research careers. They need time to develop the skills that they may need in the future. And then they also need just experience to explore and see what they like or don't like. And really at this point, the earlier that you can talk with kids about what they might want to do in the future and start talking about what those options are, the better, so that they don't hit that last year of high school and really start panicking about what life is going to look like in the next year. So in talking with your child, ask them what they enjoy, what their future goals might be, what they're interested in. Encourage them to self-reflect so that they can look at what they have as strengths and weaknesses, what their core values are. It's really important just for overall satisfaction to have those core values align with what they're doing. Help them research careers. Maybe you can watch a TV show about a certain career, explore different career paths, look at different industries, talk about those education requirements. So college versus a training program versus the military, and just be really open about looking at those different options. And then talk about people that you know, talk about their careers, their paths, their experiences and challenges. Those real world examples are very important, especially for kids at this age in middle school, to understand what the real working world looks like. So some resources that we have, if you're looking at this on via slides, some of these are links. Really looking at these interest inventories is a great resource for you because they link in the results to different information places. So the US Bureau of Labor and Statistics, that'll link you to different high demand careers. It'll talk about the average salary, average training needed to go into that career. So that's a great opportunity. There's also another interest inventory that I've listed here that just helps kids think about things that I like to do and then let their interests guide them into a potential career. Talking to a school counselor, or once they get to the high school, their career center. School counselors do have a component of their jobs that is career related. So talking about what future education jobs will look like. And then the career center is a great resource once they're at the high school level. And then in the local community, a lot of times there are other resources available. I know in our area, we've got a children's museum where they do some creative looking at different career options. There's career fairs and different things like that. So that local community piece is huge. And then another thing, especially at the middle school level, that we want to talk about with kids are the essential skills that they'll need to be employable. So it's not necessarily just about going to college to learn specifically how to be a doctor. While that is part of it, they also need to have other skills that would make them a good person to have employed, someone that reflects positively on a company, someone that's easy to work with. So when we're looking at those essential skills, we have our academic skills, which are, as they sound, the things that kids are learning in the classroom that are related to a specific content area. We have soft skills, which are the general employability skills that would cross into any employment category. And then there's also pieces that maybe they don't cover necessarily right now, but that are important for later on when engaging in the working world. Those pieces are digital literacy and understanding technology and how to utilize technology, and then also financial literacy, which is a huge piece, especially once kids get to high school, that they need to be considering. That can include what should my goal salary be to sustain a lifestyle that I would like. It could be, how am I going to pay for my training option like college or trade school? And just kind of those things to really consider what an ideal career could be for them. So what are these soft skills that I talked about? Sometimes these are also called transferable skills or employability skills. They're just those general skills that most jobs and most employers are going to want to see. So things like work ethic, time management and organization, teamwork, collaboration, the ability to solve problems and to think critically, self-awareness and the ability to self-regulate, leadership, which isn't necessarily leading an entire group, but maybe taking initiative or positively influencing other people, being adaptable and resilient, and then also being able to communicate, and technology is also a piece of that. So things that we talk about with kids at this level are being on time. Are you showing up regularly to school? Or are you absent a lot? Are you tardy? So that's a huge piece of work ethic at this level at the middle school. And then also how they're interacting with adults, and those conversations about how they're interacting with peers and how they're managing conflict are really great lessons to learn, especially at this age. So key skills that you can help reinforce would be active listening. So showing by your body language, by your voice, that you are engaged in a conversation and not headphone in, staring off into space, that you're actively listening, that you're providing and receiving feedback. So helping kids to understand that they will receive feedback, and it's not a criticism, it's just helping them to improve what they're doing, but then also giving them the ability to provide constructive feedback, helping them to resolve conflicts in a meaningful and positive way, helping them to make age-appropriate decisions. This also helps them build confidence in future ability to make decisions. So just helping them understand that the decisions that they make do impact their future, and then also how to responsibly make those decisions. Maintaining a positive outlook. We know the world sometimes can be really hard, and it can be easy to slip into a more negative thought space. So helping students, especially in the middle school level, be able to look at things from a positive lens, kind of that growth mindset piece of being able to say, I don't know this yet, or I need to try again, really will help them be able to be resilient in the workplace. Embracing challenge and change. There's going to be a lot throughout their lives that they go through in terms of changing, but then also there will be challenges. Challenge is where we learn. So in that space of challenge, that's where we might be struggling, but it's because we're growing. And so helping them embrace that as a learning opportunity and not just a time that they're struggling. Helping students to prioritize tasks. A lot of students, they see a list and they don't even know where to start, so they shut down. And at the workplace, that can happen a lot too, where we've got so many things going on, we've got a full calendar, and we just don't even know where to start. So helping students understand what goes into prioritizing those tasks and helping them figure out how to start is a great way to help build some of that work ethic. Self-motivation and positively influencing others. When kids can start a task on their own, when they can positively help others engage in completing a task, that's a really great skill, not only for middle school and working on group projects or working on their work, but later on in the workplace, being able to lead others and just be a positive person to be around really goes a long way. Being able to meet deadlines, obviously important with assignments. I know at the middle school level, some kids might think, oh, I can just turn it in after the deadline and I'll still get credit. In the work world, that might not be how it is. You might have a consequence where you lose your job or where you're penalized. So helping kids understand that deadlines are important. And then we've got some other more of the people skill types of things. So having empathy for others, trying to see the perspective of others, being dependable or someone that you can rely on. Employers want to see someone that they know is going to show up, that's going to get their work done. So really emphasizing that with students, that you want to be someone that's essential to your employer, no matter what direction you go. Being able to take initiative, like we talked about, and also holding themselves accountable. So, where was my control in this situation? What did I have the power to change or do differently? And then, how did my interaction with this situation end up with this specific outcome. So even if it's a positive or negative outcome, just being able to say like, yes, this is how I contributed, this is what I could do differently or would do differently. And also that might come with an apology if it was something negative. Being trustworthy and honest, that just as a people trait, I think we all appreciate that trustworthiness and honesty. Being able to problem solve and apply those critical thinking skills. Some of that also comes with taking initiative and being able to make decisions. Being a positive representation, companies don't want to employ someone that's going to look bad for them. So really teaching kids, even at the middle school level, when we go on field trips, we say, you're representing Coweta. If you're the one that is acting up, that's going to make the Coweta Cougs look bad. So just talking about positive representation and how we're representing ourselves. That goes back to last month's lesson about social media. What's their digital footprint? How are they talking about others? Are they well received? So just really talking about how they're representing themselves and then also representing where they're coming from. And then recognizing and respecting perspectives. So that doesn't mean they have to agree, but being able to disagree cordially, or being able to recognize that, hey, someone sees this a different way from me or thinks something different than me, and it's okay. Or maybe it's a good thing because it made me think about something from a different perspective. We just really want them to be able to understand that the world isn't always going to be exactly how they think and feel. So those other pieces beyond the soft skills and the academic skills are digital literacy and financial literacy. So digital literacy, we'll quickly go over. So this could include using online databases and knowing what's a reputable source for research. So are kids looking at scholarly articles that have gone through a structured research process, or are they looking on TikTok to get statistics? So being able to know what good sources are, especially if they're going to be making decisions with that data. Participating in discussions and communicating online. So can they form an email? Can they professionally contribute to an online discussion? So being mindful of how they're presenting themselves online and that online presence. Being able to use different software. So maybe that's creating presentations, videos, or other projects. I personally like to use Canva a lot, plug for Canva. And then being able to use not only the software, but then also be able to share using different databases. Understanding online safety, even as an adult, that's huge. We did talk about online safety a lot last month at our technology coffee with the counselor, but online safety is huge even as an adult. So just always emphasizing that. And then finally, there will be technical skills related to a specific job, to operate maybe certain devices, very specific software. So there'll be that learning that usually happens at the workplace. And then the last piece is financial literacy. So this would include budgeting, investing, managing finances, all the big scary adult topics that I think most adults don't even want to think about. But while they're looking at those future options, it's really helpful to help them consider what's their potential cost of living. Like right now, they may not have a concept of what it would cost to own their own household. So looking at what that cost of living looks like, what the potential earnings would be at a job they want. So if they, starting out trying to become a YouTube influencer or YouTube channel creator, they're probably not going to make a lot right off the bat. So are they going to even be able to cover that cost of living, or should they go a different route and have YouTube channeling be a hobby? What costs may be associated with training or school for this career. And that really also comes with the conversation about the length of time they're going to be in school and what those opportunities look like. So that could be, hey, you want to be a teacher, you're going to need to go to college and get a bachelor's degree in teaching. Or, hey, you want to be a doctor, you're going to need to go to school for much longer, and each year of school does cost money. Or it might be you want to go into the military so that you can use GI Bill money to pay for your college after you have served in the military. or trade school. I want to go for 18 months and get specific on the job training. There's also apprenticeships that offer different training opportunities and payment options. So looking at those different options, some kids really don't understand that 4-year degrees are required for some professions, and just understanding the costs associated with the different degrees. They'll need to understand how they can plan for their future. So kind of looking at their long-term plan, which this might not be a right now middle school kind of conversation, but really just helping them consider, I might need to have more of a 10-year plan on how this is going to happen, so that I can pay for things, or so that I can set myself up for the best future possible. And then also, just to consider as kids are starting to go into high school, is what funding opportunities or scholarships are available to me. A lot of that will come up the senior year of high school. So there's not really a lot to do between now and about the end of junior year, other than creating opportunities so that you can be presenting yourself on those scholarship applications as the best candidate possible. So one opportunity that I do want to talk about is the College Bound Scholarship. So this is an option for students that meet the income criteria. It's for students in Washington State, and they can, if they qualify, it's based on income as of 7th grade. They can essentially have their college paid for. It's a great opportunity. You don't have to apply anymore. You just have to make sure that you've filled out the food services form that indicates your household income. And then during the senior year of high school, you would complete the financial aid application form, also known as the FAFSA. Once that's completed, and then the income is verified from that, you will be eligible for the funds. So there's really not a lot that has to be done between right now and the end of high school, but it is a great opportunity to talk with kids about paying for college. There is a GPA requirement, so helping them think of their grades and really committing themselves to school. And then also it is limited to Washington State. So you would want them to consider the different programs that are open to them. So great opportunity for funding. A lot of people don't realize it's out there. So just something to discuss with your student. So then the final piece of having this conversation with students about career exploration is giving them those opportunities to experience things. Kids in the middle school age range really are about that hands-on experiential learning. So allowing them to go to career fairs or workshops if they're available, allowing them to volunteer. Sometimes volunteering is the first taste of the adult world that kids will get. So that can provide them great opportunities to not only see different careers and to interact with people, but also to build their resume for later when they'll need it. Shadowing professionals is also a great opportunity. If they can see somebody working on the job or get to see what it actually looks like, kind of a day in the life scenario, that's a great opportunity for them. And then really encourage kids to get involved. They build so many skills by being involved in extracurriculars, not to mention being able to build some of their academic resume up, showing that they're able to participate, they're able to build those leadership skills, those people skills, that teamwork skill that most jobs will require. But then they're also building their resume as well. So at Cal Weeman, we have a lot of opportunities for kids to get involved. And so we have on this slide just talking about our different athletics, our clubs and activities that kids can get involved with. And again, these are really just to be able to allow kids to connect with others, build those leadership skills, maybe explore an interest that they didn't know they had, and to develop that work ethic in committing to a team and needing to be reliable and dependable. And then I've also included our required courses just to get an idea of different opportunities that are out there for kids. And finally, as a parent or an adult that works with these middle school kids, just supporting their choices and being there to help them navigate that decision making. We want them to be able to make those appropriate or age appropriate decisions to build confidence and build their decision making ability. So just supporting them in their choices and then helping them problem solve if it doesn't go well. emphasize the importance of lifelong learning. There's never going to come a point where they just stop. There's always going to be new technology. They might change a job. They might decide to go back to school. So just really emphasizing that learning doesn't stop, even if it might change, but it doesn't stop, and that it is important to continue learning. And then help them connect with different professionals. So if they're really interested in something, ask if they can have a conversation with a professional in that area, or connect them with the career center at the high school or with a counselor that we can help with that research that might happen. So it's always okay to start early with those conversations. Your first step might be taking an interest inventory and seeing where that goes. So our quote for this month: if you choose a job you love, you will never have to work a day in your life. So hopefully kids are able to find that job that they love and commit to that career path and have a really fun, fulfilling life. For questions, you can contact us directly. Either Rachel or myself are happy to answer any questions via email or phone, or you can check out our social media pages for other posted information. Resources we used in this presentation are from careeronestop.org, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, and then My Future My Way, which is a guide toward college. There's a couple great resources on that webpage to help kids kind of myth buster through just facts about going to college. So great place for parents to look. So contact information, again, Instagram, Facebook. We're also on YouTube now, or you can check out our website. Lots of great resources on our website. And then finally, next month, for the month of May, which also happens to be Mental Health Awareness Month internationally, we will be talking about mental health awareness for middle schoolers. So parents and guardians, we hope you can join us. It'll be Thursday, May 15th at Cowieman. If you're unable to join us, we'll have a recording posted shortly after that event. We thank you for your support, and we thank you for tuning in this month to Coffee with a Counselor. We will see you next month.